Welcome to Go Publish Yourself. These are the author spotlights. I'm Justine Bilo, the author acquisitions manager for IngramSpark. We have such a fun guest for you today. We are joined by the fantastic Ellie Marney, all the way from down under in Australia. Ellie Marney is an Australian teacher and YA author of the Every series in a highly awarded crime trilogy for young adults. In 2015, Every Breath was named by the Australian Library Information Association as one of the top 10 most borrowed YA books in Australian libraries. Ellie has helped spearhead a collaborative group of literary sector professionals under the banner #LoveAusYA to advocate for and promote Australian YA literature. She is one of the contributors to Begin and Begin, a #LoveYA anthology out now through HarperCollins, and she hosts a book club, #LoveAusYA Book Club online. She is an ambassador for the Stella Prize Schools program and is a regular speaker at schools, events, and festivals. In 2017, Ellie released No Limits, a companion novel to the series. Her latest novel is White Knight. Thank you so much for joining us. It is like so early in Australia, and we are so excited to have you.
Hi, Justine. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so great. I think you win the prize for the longest distance podcast guest we've had, Ellie.
Yeah, I definitely get the gold medal for that one.
And also the best accent for a guest we've had, for sure.
We always think our accent's pretty normal.
Oh, totally. But it's here in the States, it's pretty amazing. I absolutely love that you're a teacher. What do you actually teach?
I am a teacher. I love being a teacher. And at the moment, I teach Indonesian at primary school level. And also, I teach creative writing at a tertiary level. But hold
on.
You're right.
Indonesian? Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, we have to go back. So, here in the States, like you take Spanish, French, but Indonesian, that's an offering in Australia?
Absolutely. In Australia, I mean, Indonesia is one of our nearest neighbors, and I lived there for about 4.5, nearly 5 years. So I learned to speak the language pretty well, and so now I teach it locally.
Wow, that's crazy. That's amazing. So you also teach creative writing, which makes sense.
Well, I teach English whenever I'm given the chance, but I also teach creative writing all over the place, all over the state and interstate when I'm called out to do author visits in schools.
Oh, that must be so great.
Yeah.
What age is like the most fun to teach when it's the creative writing?
For creative writing, probably, well, look, I think I really love teaching like year 9 and 10, which I guess is 14, 15 years old. What is the American system? That's
like freshman year of high school?
Yeah, I quite like teaching freshman English and creative writing, so they're pretty good fun to teach.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Because they're still, super creative and not jaded yet,
That's exactly right. And they haven't reached their final year of high school, so they're not really concentrating on testing and getting their final marks. They're not really stressed out.
Yeah. They're not worried yet.
Not yet, no.
So do your students inspire you in your work?
Yeah, always. I mean, I mainly teach teenagers, so I do get plenty of inspiration. I mean, I teach English and YA writing. And I write YA. So being around teenagers all day, you get to eavesdrop a lot. And you also, get to figure out what young people are really interested in and listen to what they're saying. So that's really important part of the things that I write.
Have you ever been stuck in your book, and then something's happened in your real world, and then it's helped you with the block, Absolutely. The writer's block.
Absolutely. And in fact, not only do I teach teenagers, but I live around teenagers because I have 4 boys and 2 of them. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, huh? Big
4.
family.
Oh my goodness.
So I have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. So I'm living with teenagers as well. And I often consult them if I'm really stuck. I will say, what do you think, my character would do now? Like, if it was you, what would you do? What would you do? So I do steal ideas from my students and from my kids all the time.
They're good consultants in the field.
Very handy.
Yeah, that's super handy. I mean, if you have them around, you may as well, pick their brains.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
They can be like a walking resource.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you have the moniker as one of the most borrowed books in all of Australia, which is amazing. And you have a very good relationship with the librarians. Yeah. Here at IngramSpark, we love the librarians. They're amazing. What has made your relationship with them so strong through the years?
We have a really strong public library system here in Australia, and libraries are still my favorite places in the whole world. So look, librarians and authors have a lot in common. We're all, basically big word nerds. We have a mutual interest in books and reading, but every author I know promotes and advocates for literacy and reading programs and actively encourages the use of the library. So I think it's just a really great way for librarians and authors to work together, for the benefit of the community. Mm-hmm. So maybe librarians see me as a bit of a kindred spirit because, I don't know. I try to support them as much as they support me. So I do try to spread the word about libraries and basically encourage people to continue to go and continue to support the system.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. If you send people into the libraries to support them, that's the greatest thing for the librarians. And so they'll, continue to support your books. Right. And it's the symbiotic relationship, Yeah.
I think, and I do sometimes confess to them that I might have become a librarian if I hadn't become a teacher and a writer. So I think,
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent a lot of time in the library when I was in high school.
Yeah. Oh man, my entire childhood was spent in libraries, specifically at lunchtime.
They have a great smell. They have that.
Yeah. Oh, you can't beat it. You really can't. So you said that if you hadn't become a teacher, you would have wanted to be a librarian. Yeah. But did you always want to be a writer then?
Yeah, well, look, I've always wanted to write, and I started writing really young when I was in primary school. But I knew that I would probably need a way of supporting myself. So I did think about being a librarian, and I even thought at one point about being a veterinarian. Before I became a teacher.
Ooh.
I decided to veto the veterinarian thing. There was a lot of study, and I was more attracted to books than I was to animals in the end.
Yeah, and books are can be less temperamental as much as we love animals. Although sometimes, you never know. A character can be very temperamental. What am I saying? You never know. So you also run a book club. I was in a book club with my mom for eons. So book clubs are also like super near and dear to my heart. What do you think it's important for kids and teens to read?
Well, I think actually teens are actually very good at self-selecting their own literature if they're given a choice of options. I think the important thing with teenagers is to cover their interests. Is, you know, like you have to keep throwing books at them until they find something that is, you know, matches up with what they're interested in. So I guess variety.
Yeah, that speaks to them.
Yeah. I said, you know, variety is probably the answer. A variety of topics and themes and a variety of formats, because, you know, you've got an amazing range of formats now. You can get ebook, you can get hard copy novels, graphic novels, audiobooks. So, you know, they have plenty of choice. And I think the best thing is to give them the choice, you know, let the choice be in their hands. I think that's actually really important for encouraging them to keep reading. I know that's been important for my children. So, and I see it in high schools and with other kids all over the country. So I'm pretty convinced now that if you give teenagers options, that they can figure things out for themselves.
If you point them in the right direction, you know, they can find something that they really enjoy.
That's
and
right.
Gets them to be readers.
And you don't, as long as you don't limit them by saying, oh, you shouldn't read that, you know, it's trash, or you shouldn't read that. It's, you know, you should be just reading quality literature or something. You know, they should be able to access a whole spectrum of literature from across the whole, you know, range of genres and format.
Yeah. Exactly. Because you never know what's going to, you know, take their heart and, you know, make them happy.
Right. That's right. And we have an awards competition here in Australia called the Inky Awards, and it's
great name.
It's run by the Centre for Youth Literature, and it's actually all of the books that are on the list, the short list and the long list, they're all nominated by teenagers, and the award itself is judged by teenagers, which I think is really, it's a fantastic initiative. And I think, you know, it's a great example of seeing what kids actually choose when they're given the freedom to choose.
Yeah, that is really fascinating. And yeah, because instead of, you know, the quote unquote tastemakers, you know, deciding what, you know, gets the clout of the award, that, you know, the kids get to, or not kids, the teenagers get to choose, you know, what they actually like. I love that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic idea.
That's amazing idea. I love it. So we have time for about one more question. So I'm going to wrap up with this one. What's been your favorite thing about indie publishing?
My favorite thing about indie publishing, I think, is the control over every aspect of the process. So everything from writing the book to the covers to pricing to release day. I mean, that gives you a wonderful sense of control over the book itself, but also, you know, over your professional career. So that's really important. But also, I have to say that seeing my new books go online for the first time, that feeling when you release a new book, that really never gets old.
It's so exciting to, like, you know, let your baby out into the world.
Think about seeing it come up, and it's like, oh, wow, you get a real thrill.
And then have people read it. Oh, it's got to be the best.
It's amazing to think, that you're sending out something into the world, and people are now going to start reading it, and, you know, they're going to give you feedback. And it's. I mean, like I said, I have a big family, and my books are part of my family now. So, you know, I have this whole collection of other babies, other children that I've sent out there into the world.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it has been so absolutely wonderful talking to you today, Ellie. Oh, of course. And I appreciate you waking up so early to talk to me all the way from Australia.
We're getting a very lovely sunrise right now as we're chatting.
Oh, there you have it, viewers. You are hearing the Australian sunrise all the way across the world. So on that note, thank you so much for joining. Go publish yourself. This has been our chat with Ellie Marney. Please go check out her books. She writes wonderful YA. They're all really wonderful. And please join us next time. Thank you for joining.
Hi everyone, this is Robin Cutler, Director of IngramSpark. Thanks so much for tuning in to this special Spotlight feature episode where authors and publishers just like you share their experience on what's worked for them. We hope these episodes inspire you on your own publishing journey. And if you're ready to publish today, visit the IngramSpark website. For more tips on publishing like a pro, subscribe to our podcast and weekly blog, or check out our new free online self-publishing courses available in the brand new IngramSpark Academy. Thanks for joining us today, and talk to you soon.